Hello one and all. World Cup Brazil 2014 semi-finals have been and gone and done one. And the results, well, let's just take a look at those games again. So we had Holland. So I was combining Holland and Netherlands. Hollands. Noland. Nothand. Anyway, man, too many late nights, I tell you. It really is. Right, as you can see, these videos are always done from my unique perspective. And, yeah, you know, Holland, through this whole tournament, have been powerful and boring. They've been playing in games where they have kept things to a draw. In fact, a lot of teams have let things go to a draw too often for my liking. And then it's just like in the last couple of minutes or whatever, they suddenly, oh, we're Holland. Wait, we can't let that happen, and then they win. Now, Argentina, their opponents. Oh gosh. Okay, so if we look at Argentina, their performance in the tournament was disgraceful. Let's just look at that. Yes, they got that far, but they were a very boring team. I mean, even Messi wasn't interesting for me. I mean, their last game they got them through, just the quarterfinals, was the absolute epitome of description for just how poor Argentina have been. So this was always going to be a very potentially boring game, and boy was it. I mean, it's odd because all the way through just the 90 minutes worth that was played to 0-0, they didn't really properly look like they were going to score, either of them, properly. But in the end, Argentina did outplay them. They played more aggressively, a more possessive game, more convincingly, yeah. And obviously, extra time that wasn't going to score. It was just they were just locked into some terrible, boring dance together that wasn't good to watch, and just made me tired trying to watch it. In fact, and then it went to penalties, and like it's one of those games where, you know, if you had it recorded, you could hit the fast forward button and watch it like that, and it would be just as fine. You're not going to miss anything. You're going to see the ball keep going backwards and forwards and passed back to the goalie and keep going off for throw-ins over and over again. Awful. So yeah, Argentina are through to the final, and well, they haven't convinced me. Yeah, they were better in that game. They deserved to beat Holland, but they haven't convinced me that they deserve the tournament, the trophy. Well, let's see if they can do it. You've got to love, obviously, the FIFA symbol, haven't you, for this World Cup with the little hand and going up around like that. Obviously, that's the face palm with all the memes going about. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about for the other semi-final game, that being Brazil-Germany. And to call it an upset would be probably not upsetting enough. So Germany won 7-1 and really schooled Brazil. Now I think it came to it that Brazil were having a fairly easy ride. They were letting the momentum of who they are supposed to be and all the fans and everything push them along and carry them this far. But this is not the team of like 10 years ago, and this is certainly not the 1970s. So this is a different Brazil side, and it's nowhere near on par quality. And the degree of mistakes, I mean, Germany were just well-oiled, solid, machine-like, and every time you make a mistake they will punish, because they played with football perfection. Very few mistakes were made, and again the few mistakes made were a few openings that maybe should have even given them more goals. It was so funny actually, even in the second half, to see Brazil actually score one back, and how annoyed the Germans were at conceding a goal. And it was like the muted feeling across the stadium. All the fans, they didn't like cheer the Brazil goal, obviously, you know, and the way that they were giving a round of applause to the Germans, because they were saying, well, you know, you've come to Brazil and you've showed us how to play great football. But there's this instant panic thing. They're all saying, wait, but this is Brazil. Oh my goshness. You know, what is happening? Are we doing the training wrong? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? We have to review what we're doing. This shouldn't happen to Brazil. Blah, 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 Brazil. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Look at it this way, yeah? Teams get good, stays for a while, then they go back off form again. It happens. Alright? It's not as bad as the normal leagues with transfer window nonsense, but it happens, okay? And sometimes you take your rise and have your spotlight. You just get that group of great players together that happen to play there. It doesn't have to be something you have to rush to and say, yes, is it something wrong with the training? It just maybe is, you know? It could just be that this generation of players at this time just isn't as good. It happens. Look at our England team at the moment. They're awful. When you think back to the 90s England teams that still didn't win anything, they would have battered this England. Oh my God. You imagine all of those players. You imagine that lineup of like Gaza and Ince and Shearer and all those sort of people. Yeah, heck, you throw Lineker in, guaranteed goals, just guaranteed goals over and over. I mean, sturdy team. Yeah. They were a good England team. It was a shame not to see them come away with something during their formation. But, you know, it rises and falls. And right now, well, we're in one heck of a fall. And why is it happening? Well, you know, there was always the warning that maybe we weren't giving enough of an opening to our own players, letting so many transfers coming in from abroad and that sort of thing. I mean, all of the young homegrown players, they have to push that bit harder to get a place in the A squads and the A teams. After all, maybe they get to stay in the reserves or whatever, and then get transferred to a lower division or something like this, because you know, whoever from some other country is there, and it's not promoting good English football, is it? Footballers being skilled. I mean, it would balance out if a proportionate amount of our best players were being transferred off to foreign teams. But there seems to be an extreme lack of that happening. I mean, did any of the England side play for anyone but Premiership teams? Just for Premiership teams, right? They don't play abroad. How come no one wants the England players? Is it because they're not good enough? Does that mean, right? Does that mean... Does that mean that if you've got all the England team and they're only Premiership players, and they aren't good enough, then the best players in the Premiership aren't English? If we go around there and do and look at it mathematically there, so we're reliant completely on players not from our own country to make our football even as good to the point as it is. Got yourselves in a scrape there, haven't you? And it's all gone commercial and all the rest of it. Anyway, this is going into a bit of a rant now, but we could talk about this some other time. But we can look forward to the final between Germany and Argentina. I say look forward to, but you know, I think Germany are going to completely annihilate them, simply from the fact that Argentina have been unimpressive, and Germany haven't been unimpressive in any of their games. They've just been solid, but not boring. But you know, last game, they're on a wave, and they're going to ride that all the way into the Argentinian coast and load it in their faces. Even though they're in Brazil, they'll just sweep sweep the wave on down over to Argentina, I think, and ride on through there and tsunami the land, holding the trophy above their heads and cut the swathe right through the country. I'm being hard on you, aren't I, Argentina? I'm being hard on you. But you've been boring to watch this tournament. I just, I'm an England fan and I obviously can't hope that my side's going to win. So I just want to see good football between teams. And unfortunately, that last game between yourselves and Holland really pissed me off because it wasn't good football. So better step it up in the final. Show those Germans what's for. They'll love you for it. They'll have to get out and have a bit of a kick around the park with the kids. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'll see you at the next one, where we can have a bit more of a moan about the state of football generally. Bye for now.